Hello class, this is Vic Mask and I'll be presenting the Battle of Yorktown. Originally, the Battle of Yorktown was to be the battle for New York City. Washington was set on attacking General Clinton in New York and had joined forces with Rochambeau. They were expecting to have the support of a French fleet of warships from Comte de Grasse. However, de Grasse informed them that he was heading to the Chesapeake Bay. When Washington was informed that the fleet was moving into the Chesapeake Bay, he changed his strategy on the advice of Rochambeau and his own officers. He wanted Clinton to believe that an attack was imminent, so he adopted a strategy of deception and misinformation. His men made it look as though they were setting up camps, and Washington had drafted some letters intended to fall into enemy hands. Clinton took the bait and fortified New York, while Washington moved his army south towards Virginia to take on Cornwallis. These are the major players for the Revolutionary side, with George Washington as the commander of the American forces and Rochambeau as the commander of the French expeditionary forces. This is a depiction of Washington and Rochambeau conferring about their final orders on the Battle of Yorktown. These are the major players for the British. General Clinton being the commander of all forces and in charge of the Northern force, and General Cornwallis as second in command and the commander of the Southern forces. Clinton is depicted on the bottom as a side note due to him not being at Yorktown. Clinton had given Cornwallis some confusing orders, which led him to set up in Yorktown to construct a deep water port. This map shows the battle lines for both sides. The Revolutionary forces had a naval fleet in the Chesapeake Bay, which was able to move into the deep water ports in the York River. The American and French forces marched from Williamsburg, where they had mustered on September 28, 1781, to Yorktown. They dug in 800 yards from the British forces. By October 11th, they had cut that distance in half. The Revolutionary forces essentially surrounded Cornwallis with a numerically superior force, which was roughly 2-1. Gloucester Point was also occupied by the British forces on the opposite side of the river. Revolutionary forces approached them from the north, which completely isolated them and gave them nowhere to go. This is the depiction of Washington firing the first cannon shot on the Battle of Yorktown. During the siege, the revolutionaries were able to capture 2 cannon emplacements, Redoubt 9 and Redoubt 10. These were then turned on the British forces. The assaults on these 2 redoubts only lasted about 30 minutes and occurred on the 14th of October. The British could not escape and soon realized that their situation was hopeless. They raised the white flag on October the 17th. This is a depiction of the naval blockade on Yorktown. The next day, the generals met to discuss the terms of surrender. Ironically, on the 19th, as British POWs were marched out into a field to lay down their weapons, Clinton left New York with a force of 5,000 men to come to the aid of Cornwallis. This is a depiction of Cornwallis surrendering his forces to George Washington. The Treaty of Paris was signed on the 3rd of September, 1783, which formally ended the war and gave America her independence. I'm Vic Mask. This was my presentation on Yorktown, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.